So welcome. Today is Saturday, April 25th. And as I say, I'll be recording this on my smartphone and I'll send the recording out later today or tomorrow. So let's just start seated with the legs crossed, or you can sit Japanese style, whatever you prefer. Relax the shoulders, broaden across the collarbone. Close the eyes and just bring focus to the breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. As you breathe in, fill the lungs, expand the ribs. As you breathe out through the nose, try and make that exhale just as long as the inhale. Long, slow, deep breaths. Each inhale, you try and pull in a little bit more air, a little bit more oxygen. So we've tried a few different breathing techniques over the last week or two. We've talked about Ujjayi breathing. We've talked about alternate nostril breathing. So today I'm going to talk about what's called Kapalabhati breathing, Kapalabhati, also called fire breath. And they call it fire breath because this kind of breathing is energizing. Not the kind of breathing technique you want to do late at night, because it can help, if it's energizing, it can keep you awake. So good thing to do earlier on in the day. But with this kind of breathing, you focus more on the exhale, and it's a sharp exhale. You exhale through the nose quickly, sharply, and as you exhale you pull in the belly in as much as you can. I'm going to demonstrate in a minute. A couple of warnings though. Don't try this technique, A, if you're pregnant, B, if you have high blood pressure. And also one thing, sometimes if you're not used to breathing like this, sometimes it makes you a little bit lightheaded, a little bit dizzy, so if that's too much, just revert to regular breathing. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, and then we do a sharp exhale, and as you exhale you pull in that belly in. Breathe in through the nose, and exhale. Regular breathing. So I say this kind of breathing is energizing, and I don't know if you can see my belly come in as I exhale, but it's a bit difficult, but you're breathing in. So I breathe in about 2/3 of the way, and then do that sharp exhale. As I say exhaling, you're pulling that belly in. Breathe in. Regular breathing. So the idea is you're pulling a lot more oxygen in as you breathe in, so it's energizing the body. A couple of breaths, regular breaths. And then we'll do one more round of Kapalabhati breathing. Inhale. Go. Regular breathing. Sometimes I'll do like 3 rounds, 20 in each round, or we did just 10 this time, just because some of you might not be used to it. And as I say, sometimes you might feel a bit lightheaded, but the more you practice, the easier you're going to find that technique. Let's just sit taller and taller, interlace the fingers, push the palms in my direction, towards your front, pulling the shoulders back. Sitting up as tall as you can, and then bring the arms either side of the ears, or as close to the side of the ears as you can. We're reaching up, we're trying to get length here. We keep the fingers interlaced, we turn the palms up to the ceiling, keeping the shoulders relaxed, elbows in nice and close. And then we're going to take the hands behind us, interlace the fingers, and gently fold forward. We're pulling the shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades together, and we're slowly, carefully lifting the arms up towards the ceiling. Breathing at the same time, don't hold the breath. Inhale as you come back up. Place one hand on the mat, so it's a couple of feet away from you. You bring the other arm up. You're reaching up to get length, and then you exhale to get into that side stretch. And we take about 3 or 4 breaths here. Inhale, we come out, and exhale over to the other side. Inhale, we come back out. So we're going to go onto our mat. We're going to come into Sphinx pose, named after that Egyptian guy, Gal. So Sphinx, you're on your forearms. Hips are down, and you're sort of grabbing the mat, you're trying to pull the mat towards you, you're trying to open the chest. And then from here we're going to transition into a forearm plank. So we're going to make fists with the hands, tuck the toes, and bring those hips up. Chin is tucked, you're looking at the mat. So you're really working on pushing those forearms into the ground. Core is working, back is neutral. Definitely don't drop the hips if this is too tough. You can bring the knees down if you need to. Don't forget to breathe. Now for those that want a little bit more challenge, you can bring one leg up. And then we bring the other leg up. And then we bring that foot down. And we lie down, resting the head on the hands or the mat. And we bring one leg up. The leg doesn't have to go too high. So we're just working the glutes, working the lower back muscles. And we're just going to pulse that leg a few times. And then we switch legs, bringing the other leg up, pulsing that leg. And then we come back into Sphinx. Bring the knees underneath the hips. And we're going to slide the hands forward. We're going to come into puppy dog. So we're bringing the arms forward, keeping the hips over the knees, extending the arms. Chin is tucked, you're looking towards the legs. Forehead may or may not be touching the ground, but the arms are working a lot. And then we're going to come back into dolphin. So dolphin pose. It's like downward facing dog, except where we come onto the forearms. So we're bringing the forearms down so the elbows are under the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. You tuck the toes. Now when you come up, don't be tempted to move the feet back. Try and keep the tucked feet where they are. You bring the hips up. So we start off. When you start off, the shoulders are over the elbows, but we want to get those shoulders back, so I'm pushing into the mat. So watch if you've never done dolphin. So I'm trying to straighten that line out, elbows through the shoulders to the hips. I usually keep my knees bent. A lot of shoulder opening here. Again, where the chin is tucked, you're looking between the legs. Breathe. And then we bring the knees down and we just sit on the heels for a breath or two. And then we slowly come back up. So, like last week, I wanted to do a dedication of the class and I forgot to do it earlier, so I'd like to do it now. This time it's exciting news, is my niece just had a baby girl, so this class is dedicated to my niece and the new baby girl. And but my sister is obviously excited but disappointed that she can't be with her daughter and the baby, so she's just viewing everything with FaceTime. But anyway, that's exciting news. So what we're going to do, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So we're back on our hands and knees. We bring the hips up and back. And again, we've got those straight lines, just like we did in the dolphin pose. This time, we're going to bring up one leg. So I'm bringing my right leg up. I'm inhaling. And on the exhale, I'm going to see if I can touch my right elbow with the right knee. Inhale, extend. And on the exhale, I'm going to see if I can touch the other elbow. Inhale, extend. And on the exhale, I'm bringing the knee in towards the chin. Inhale, extend. We switch legs. Inhale as the other leg comes up. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to chin. Inhale, extend. We bring that foot down, we bring the knees down, and we come into child's pose. And we come up and we sit on the heels. So what we're going to do next, back into downward facing dog. And we're going to work our way into a side plank, an easy side plank. So we bring up one leg, and we bring that knee down to the ground. Hand on that same side, so I've got my right knee down, I bring the right hand to centre, and I stack the arms. Easy side plank, and we're looking up towards the ceiling. So that top arm is straight, it's lined up, the hand is lined up with the arm as well. And then we transition into side plank on the other side. So we come back into downward facing dog. We bring the other leg up. We bring the knee down to the ground, we center the hand, and we bring that other arm up. Back into extended down dog, same side, and top foot comes down, and knees come down to the ground. So I'm going to show you a pose, this is called star pose. A little bit challenging. If you don't want to do star pose, you could do the side plank again. But to get into star pose, just watch if you've never done this. So I'm bringing my right leg up. I then bring the shoulders over the wrists as I'm bringing that knee forward. And I shoot the leg over to the side. So I'm trying to get the foot lined up with the hands. Both legs are straight. And then I bring that left arm up. Again, straight line. Star pose. Breathe. And for those crazy people, if you can get into star pose, you bring that hand down. And you do about 3 push-ups. 1, 2, 3. We extend the leg, and as I say, you could do side plank if you prefer. We switch legs, bringing the other leg up, and we do star pose on the other side. Ideally, that foot is lined up with the hands. We bring that arm up, we're opening up, we're looking up towards the ceiling. We bring the top hand down. And we do about 3 push-ups if you're crazy. 1, 2, 3. We extend the leg. We bring the foot down, bring knees down, and we sit on the heels, and we just take a few breaths. And then we slowly come up. So, my take on yoga is what I'm trying to get out of yoga is not only getting more flexible, but is building the strength as well. So we need both. We want to try and get that balance. So we're going to work our way up. So come back on your hands and knees. Downward facing dog. Look forward between the hands, walk forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, palms to chest. So we're going to just do a half salute. We're going to inhale as we sweep the arms up. Exhale, we fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. So if you can't touch the ground with the legs straight, bend the knees, use the core as you come down and come up to keep that back safe. If you feel any discomfort in your back, always bend the knees like this. That should relieve any pressure on the back. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, breath, core brings us up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. So we're going to do a sun salutation A. I'm just going to readjust the mat a little bit and the screen, just so you can see a little bit more of the height. There we go. I think that's okay. Next time I'm going to see if I can block the windows with a sheet or something, so that we're not blinded by the light from outside. So we come to the front of the mat. Inhale, we sweep those arms up. Exhale, we fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we walk into plank. Regular plank this time. Just hold regular plank. Check the hands out, plenty of space between the fingers, middle finger facing forward. And I want you to, you're not moving the hands, but you're trying to turn those hands out. See what happens to the elbows? It keeps the elbows in nice and close, which you want the elbows in close. As you bring the knees down, chin chest comes forward and down, and you inhaling into cobra. Cobra, hips are down, elbows are bent. Exhale, downward facing dog. We hold down dog 2 or 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We look forward. I actually come onto my fingertips at this point so that I can get that foot through with one step, but maybe taking a couple of steps, that's just fine. Other leg comes forward. We come halfway up, we fold forward. Inhale, breath core brings us up. Exhale, Samasthiti. One more. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We come into plank. Knees come down, chin chest forward and down, more forward than down. Inhaling into cobra or up dog. Up dog, hips are up, arms are straight. Exhale, downward facing dog. So this time we're going to add a little bit of a hip opener. So we're going to bring one leg up to the ceiling, extended down dog. We stack the hips, we bend the top knee. Keep both hands solidly on the ground. Breathe. And then we switch legs. Other leg comes up, we stack the hips, opening that other hip. We bring that foot down, we look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, breath core brings us up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Sun salutation B. We bend the knees. We come into chair. We fold forward. We inhale halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We're back into plank. Elbows in nice and close as we come into chaturanga or knees, chin, chest to ground. Cobra or up dog. Exhaling into down dog. Inhale, the right leg up. Exhale, we sweep that right foot between the hands and we turn the back foot in slightly and we come into Warrior One. So Warrior One, back leg is straight, front knee is bent, and don't forget we always keep the front knee over that front ankle. If you want to add a bit of a back bend, we bring the palms together, we look up towards the ceiling. Take a big inhale, and on the exhale we're going to transition into plank, chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, exhale downward facing dog. Inhale the other leg up, exhale we sweep that foot through, back foot is turned in, we come into Warrior One on the other side. Bit of a back bend if you want, a couple of breaths. Synchronize the breath, inhaling. Exhale as we come back into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling into up dog, opening that chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we take 2 or 3 breaths in down dog. Child's pose if you want. Down dog, it's not a static pose. Each breath, you little movements, you're improving it, you're putting the fingers into the ground, thumb, index finger, you're putting the armpits towards the ground, you're tucking the chin, you're getting more length. And then we look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up, exhale folding forward, knees stay bent as we come back up into chair and then back into Samasthiti. The idea, get out of breath here. The idea is the sun salutations, they warm the body up, getting us ready for a little bit of a more deeper stretch. Let's do one more sun salutation. Inhale into chair. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale halfway up, flat back. Exhale, we flatten the hands. We come into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling into up dog, opening that chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, we sweep it through and we come up into Warrior One. We take a breath or two. On your next exhale, we come back into plank. Chaturanga on knees, chin, chest to ground. Inhaling to Cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, other leg comes up. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. Inhaling, coming up. Take a breath or two. Exhale, we come back into plank. Chaturanga, inhaling into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we hang out in down dog for a few, maybe 3 or 4 breaths. Child's pose if you need to. Just getting a little bit extra length with each breath. Pulling the armpits towards the ground, pushing the hands into the mat, chin tucked, you breathe. We look forward, walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up, exhale folding forward. Inhale, we come back into chair. Exhale, Samasthiti. So what I'm going to do this time, next, is we're going to go into a chair twist, and then let's see if we can get back into what's called a crescent twist. So this is the chair twist. Let me just demo. So this is what we're going to do. Just watch. Some of you have probably never done this. So we're going to go into chair, and then we're going to take that leg back into what's called crescent twist or high lunge twist. First of all, we bend the knees. We bring the arms up. Then we come into the twist. So first of all, I bring one hand under the hip so I've got a little bit more leverage so I can get a little deeper into that twist. And we're going to hang out here for a breath or two. Then we're going to focus on the feet. And we're going to keep, so if you're doing a twist to the left, you're going to keep that left foot grounded and you're going to take the right foot back. Obviously, if you're twisting to the other side, you do it with the other direction. So we've come into a crescent twist. And I'm still pushing that arm into the leg, breathing. We bring the hands down to the ground. We come into plank, chaturanga, inhaling into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We look forward between the hands, we walk forward. Inhaling halfway up, exhale, fold forward, we keep the knees bent, arms up, back up, we're back in chair, we do a twist in the other direction. So I'm using one hand, push into the leg, so I can get deeper into that twist. Couple of breaths here. So I'm twisting to the right this time, which means I take my left leg back into the high lunge twist, crescent twist. And then we bring the hands down to the mat. We come into plank, chaturanga, inhaling into up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. And let's take a little breather, we'll bring the knees down and we'll just rest in child's pose. Slowly come up. Let's take a little bit of a back bend here. So we bring the hands either side of the feet. So the fingers are pointing towards the front of the mat. Fingers are lined up with the toes. We tuck the chin. We open the chest as much as we can. Head goes back carefully if the neck is in good shape. And if you want a little bit more challenge, hips come up towards the ceiling. Breathe. Really trying to open that whole front body. Should feel good. Feel that chest expanding. And then we come back into child's pose. Slowly come back up on the heels. Back onto the hands and knees. Downward facing dog. And then we look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. So let's come into tree pose. So we're keeping the feet parallel. We're going to balance on the right foot, doesn't matter which foot really, but we bring the other foot up and you want it below the knee or above the knee. Please don't push into the knee joints. We then bring the palms together, palms to chest. So in the tree pose, that standing leg is working, quads are working. You're opening the chest, you're breathing. Now from here, there's a couple of transitions which you can try if you want. One is to add a little bit of a side stretch. So we bring one hand onto the knee and we lean over to one side. So that's one option. Another option, a little bit more challenging, is to come into what's called dancer's pose. We take hold of that top foot. Just try it if you want. If you want to just hang out in tree, that's fine. So I'm pushing that foot into my right hand. As I bring the other arm up, I'm looking forward and I'm starting to hinge forward at the hips. This is a really challenging pose. You're breathing all the time. And then we slowly come out and we shake everything out. If you're not used to that balance, that standing leg is working a lot. So just do what you can. Other side. The foot is below or above the knee. So we're getting a hip opener here. We're strengthening that standing leg. You're having to focus just to keep the balance. Sometimes it helps just by looking at something on the ground. If you look at something not moving, it helps with the balance. And then if you want to take a little bit of a side stretch, we bring the hand, one hand to the knee, and we lean over to one side. And if you want to try dancer's pose, we bring the palms back together. We take hold of that top foot. We push that foot into that hand. We reach the other arm forward. So I'm pushing that foot into that backhand as much as I'm reaching forward. I'm slowly hinging at the hips. Take your time on this one. This is a real challenge. Breathe. And then we slowly come out of the pose and we shake everything out. Move those shoulders. Bring one arm forward, parallel to the ground. Pull that arm in, pulling above the elbow. So we're getting a stretch. So I'm feeling the stretch, the upper arm across the upper back. I start off easy and then I gradually go deeper with the breath. Obviously everyone's different. You know, some people, if you're a bit more flexible, you don't feel as much. But this for me is a good stretch. I can feel the upper arm in particular and across the back, the upper back. We switch. Other arm comes up. Retract the shoulder back. Pull that arm in, pulling above the elbow. Feel that stretch. Go deeper with each breath. Another side stretch. Let's bring both arms up. Interlace the fingers. So we're reaching up, for trying to get as much length as we can, and then we just lean over to one side. You're trying to keep the whole body facing forward. You're shifting the hips in one direction as you lean over, you're looking up towards the ceiling. Inhale back up, reach up, exhale over to the other side. So we're going to move from side to side with the breath. Inhale coming up, exhale over. Inhale up, exhale over. Inhale up, exhale over. This time we hold for about 3 breaths. Inhale up, exhale over to the other side, hold that. Inhale back up to center. This time we're going to take a little bit of a back bend. What I'd like you to do is to start engaging the glutes, and I would like you to try and keep the arms either side of the ears and just go as far back as feels comfortable. If it starts to niggle up lower back, don't go as far or come out of it. You're breathing, go slowly, and then we inhale back up, we hinge at the hips, and we bring the hands down to the ground, bending the knees if you need to. So we're just hinging forward. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take the feet apart. So there's about 3 or 4 inches between the feet are parallel, and I'm going to take hold of the big toes. Start off with the knees bent, so you're resting the belly on the legs. Head is relaxed, you're looking between the legs. And the arms are working a lot, so we're just trying to get a little bit more of a hamstring stretch. Try and keep contact with the legs as you straighten the legs a little bit more. Just getting a bit of a hamstring stretch. Breathe. And then we bend the knees some more, and we inhale as we come all the way up, and we exhale into Samasthiti, and we shake everything out. So we're going to work our way down onto the mat. Inhale, sweeping those arms up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we come into plank. Chaturanga on knees, chin, chest to ground. Inhaling to cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then we're just going to bring the knees down. And we're going to sit on the heels. And we're going to come onto our back. So I'm just going to readjust the screen slightly again. Just to so you get a slightly better view. So come onto your back. And we're going to do this recline pigeon. We've done this before. We bring one leg, so I've got the outer of that left ankle on the right foot, and then that left hand is going through the window of the legs. And we hold on to the back of that leg. Try and keep the head down on the ground. The that's close to you is flex, what's called a dorsiflexion. It's not pointed, it's flexed. You're trying to keep the tailbone down and you're hanging out here. What's going to happen is you're going to get a stretch on the outside of that hip. You breathe. And then just try rocking from side to side a little bit. Just see how that feels. And then we're going to switch legs. Holding onto the back of the other leg. Tailbone down, so you don't want the tailbone up like this, you want to try and keep the tailbone down. It's almost like you're trying to get a little bit of gap underneath the lower back. Chin is tucked, foot close to you, flexed, pulling the legs in. A lot of arm strength here. And then happy baby. So happy baby, the knees are wide apart. You take hold of the feet if you can. You can't take hold of the feet, just the legs. So if you can take hold of the feet, that would be good. So the legs are coming either side of the ribs. Again, the head is down, tailbone is down nice and low. And again, a lot of arm strength pulling the legs down. The next one is a little bit challenging in child's pose, but we're trying to straighten the legs out. You can hold onto the feet or the toes. And just see if you can straighten the legs a little bit more into a V position. A bit of a click in my knees that happens, and then we take hold of the back of the legs. And I think we did this last week. We after this we go into boat, so we rock backwards and forwards. And we balance on the sit bones like this, and some of you are just going to hold on to the legs like this. If you want more challenge, arms either side of you, even more challenge, you straighten the legs. So we're trying to work to keep the back neutral, you breathe in. Okay, this one. Nobody likes what we're going to do next, but we're going to slowly lower down to the ground, not all the way. So the legs are a few inches off the ground. You bring the hands behind the head is off the ground. You're pushing the lower back into the ground, abs of steel. Really push the lower back into the ground. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we slowly come all the way down and we totally relax. I'm always amazed at how challenging that is. It looks easy, but it's really hard work. Walk the feet in towards you. So the feet are in pretty close. The feet wider than hips. The feet are almost to the edge of the mat. Arms either side of you on the ground. And we just windshield wipe. We just take the knees over from side to side. Yeah, this is nice and easy. Just like windshield wipers, you're going slowly. You want to move with the breath. So I inhale as the knees come up and exhale as they go down. Inhale, knees up, exhale down. Just take your time. Extend one leg on the ground. Pull the other knee in nice and close. And then see if you can straighten that leg to a certain degree, taking hold of the back of the leg. Now this is where a strap would be useful if you had a strap around the foot. Some of you might even be able to hold onto the big toe and just get that leg straight. So we're stretching out the back of the leg. Most of us are like this. But you're just feeling a stretch. I feel it in the back of the hamstring, back of the thigh there. And then we're just going to work on the foot a bit. We're just going to point the toes, flex the foot, point and flex, point and flex. Do that a few more times. And then just circle the foot in one direction. It's almost like you're trying to draw a circle in the air with the toes, and then you circle in the other direction. And then we switch legs. So we start off by stretching the hamstring, holding onto the back of the leg. So ideally you're trying to keep that leg straight. Some of you might have to bend the knee. if you've got really tight hamstrings. Some of you, if you're super flexible, you can hold onto the foot like this, pulling that leg in. Oh, another option is actually to bring the head in. That's a tough one. And then we're going to work on the foot. We point and flex, point and flex. Do that a few times. And then we circle in one direction. And we circle in the other direction. And then we pull both knees in and we rock ourselves back up. So take hold of the back of the legs, rock yourself up. We're going to go into Baddha Konasana. So Baddha Konasana is the hip opener. So we bring the soles of the feet together. So this pose, some of us it's a challenge. If your back is really rounded, if your knees are high up like that, I would suggest you try and sit on a block or a book. You want to try and get the back as neutral as you can. So I'm using a lot of arm strength. I'm pulling the hips forward. I'm sitting up tall, and then I'm looking at my feet. I'm trying to open the inside of the feet, just like you're opening the pages of a book. You're breathing, and you're just letting those knees come closer and closer towards the ground. Breathe. This can be quite a challenge for a lot of people. So what happens, especially beginners in yoga, is that you tend to be stuck like this. Your back is rounded like that. This is where a block is useful. So if you have a block or a book, just sit on it. And that makes it a lot easier. If the hips are higher than the knees, it makes it a lot easier to get those knees closer down. And you don't have to hold on to the feet. If you rather just hold on to the ankles or the shins, that's just fine. But it's a really, really nice hip opener. Another, let's try this. So let's straighten the left leg, doesn't matter which leg. Straighten one leg, bring the other foot inside. So we're going to talk about forward bends a little bit. So I'm always very, very careful of forward bends. If you have any back issues, lower back issues, be really careful with forward bends. But when you do a forward bend, this do the side view, you want to try and keep the back neutral. So we start off bringing the arms up, and then you want to hinge forward, and we're bringing the hands to that foot. I'd rather you be like this, up nice and forward, rather than round in the back like that. So if you round in the back, it puts pressure on the lower back. The only time you can come all the way down is if you can shift those hips forward, and you can get the belly down onto the leg, and then you can fold all the way forward. But be careful with forward bends. We switch. I tend to do more back bends than forward bends, but we're going to switch to the other side. So this time I've got my left foot inside, in pretty close. We bring the arms up, we inhale, we reach, we're trying to hinge at the hips, and we reach for that foot, or we can just hold on to the calf muscle, and we can take an easy forward bend. And if you want to go deeper, if you've been doing yoga for a while, if you're super flexible, you're trying to shift those hips forward, and you start folding forward. As I say, if you feel anything in the back, it's just a very, very gentle stretch. And then you come back up. Reverse tabletop. We walk the feet in. So the foot also between the feet parallel. We bring the hands behind us, and we bring the hips up. So it's like a tabletop. So the legs, the arms are the legs of the table, and the torso, the thighs are the tabletop. Head goes back carefully, and you breathe. Arms are working a lot. And as we come down, we keep the head back, we bring the sit bones down, we extend the legs, and then we lift the arms up. Now usually after a tabletop we come into a forward bend, so I've got both legs extended forward and then I slowly fall forward into that forward bend. Something a little bit more challenging to tabletop is what's called reverse plank. Reverse plank is you keep the legs straight. Again, we take the hands behind us. We bring the hips up like this, so we're straight lined all the way through the whole body. I'm trying to touch the ground with my toes. I open the chest, head goes back slowly, and we breathe. Arms are working a lot. If this is new for you, you're going to feel it in the arms. When we come out, we keep the head back, sit bones down, arms come up, that brings the head up, and then again, we just fall forward. And then slowly come back up. Come back into a seated position. Bring the arms up, arms parallel to the ground. Take the right arm, bring it under the left arm. Eagle arms. The hands are parallel, the back of the hands, or it can be the palms. We then see if we can touch the nose with the thumb or the fingers. You get a nice stretch across the upper back. Breathe. We switch side. We bring the arms up. We bring the left arm under the right arm. It can be the hands parallel or the palms. And then we see if we can touch the nose. Getting tall. Breathe. Release. Move the shoulders. Let's try this. We're going to do another hand stretch. This might be a bit of a challenge for some of you. So what we're going to do, I'm going to have to just turn around and we're going to take one arm and I'm trying to bring the back of that hand between the shoulder blades. I then bring the other arm up and I see if I can hook the fingers. Once you've hooked the fingers, you might be able to slide that lower arm up the back slightly. Try not to push into the head. And we release. So if this is a challenge, what you can do is just hold on to the opposite elbows. Other side. We bring the back of the other hand between the shoulder blades. We bring the other arm up. Try not to push into the head as you hook the fingers and you bring in that lower hand up the back slightly. And we release. And we shake everything out. So there's a pose called cow face pose, where we're doing the same thing with the arms, but as I say, if you can't do this kind of thing, you're just holding onto the opposite elbows, but we're adding the legs as well. This is a challenge. So we cross one leg over the other leg like this, and you can see there's a huge gap here. So ideally, we want to close this gap. So the only way I can get a little bit closer is I actually come up like this and I squeeze the legs together and then I come back down. So if this is tough, just, one of the secrets of yoga is knowing what you can do and what you can't do. So if you can't do this, just simply cross the legs. Just seat with the legs crossed. Then we're going to add the arms. So I have my right knee on top. which means my right elbow has to go up. So I bring my left hand behind, and then the right arm comes up. So just like before, same action with the arms as before. And then, as I say, if this is not feasible, if you can't hook the hands, the fingers, you can just hold on to the opposite elbows. So this is cow face pose, Go Mukhasana. Now, a nice thing about here is when you switch, we're just going to try and keep the feet in the place and just circle through 360 degrees. So it depends. So my right leg is in top, so I rotate anti-clockwise. If your left leg is on top, you rotate clockwise. So just watch for a minute. So I'm just going to rotate on the feet, and then the other leg is on top like this. And again, I've got to squeeze the legs together. I've got to come up, I squeeze the legs together, and I sit back down. And then now my left knee is the highest, which means I bring my right hand behind the back, my left arm comes up, and I try and hook the fingers, so I'm trying not to push into the neck too much. And as I say, you can just hold on to the opposite elbows behind you if you need to. Go Mukhasana on the other side. And then we release. And sometimes the best part of yoga is actually coming out of a pose. So while we're here, while we're seated, let's do a seated twist. So we're going to take the right foot, we pull it in, and you're going to take the left foot, and for newbies, the left foot is inside the knee. If you're flexible, or you've done yoga for a while, you can take the foot outside the knee. So you want to try and keep this foot solidly on the ground. So you don't want to be on the outer edge of the foot like this. Try and keep the foot on the ground. And I'm just going to hug the knee, or you can bring the arm outside the knee like this as more leverage. You bring the other hand behind you, and you take the twist. Try and keep those shoulders soft, and you're looking over the shoulder behind you, and you breathe. Take about 3 breaths. Inhale, we come out. And we could do that 360 rotation again to switch legs, but this time I'm just going to make it easier. So we're taking the twist in the other direction. Well, when you're doing the twist, take it easy. You get lined up, you inhale, you get tall, and then you start going into the twist, and then you start turning the head towards the back. Use that breath. Inhaling, getting taller, exhale into that twist. Inhale, we unwind. After twists, I always like to come onto my back. I pull the knees in, hug the knees, and just rock them side to side. Another thing that I like to do is just to bring the hands on the knees and just make circles with the hands and knees, just to give the sacrum a little bit of a massage. So just circle in one direction, and then circle in the other direction. And then Supta Baddha Konasana. So we did the seated Baddha Konasana, so the Supta is reclined. So we bring the knees are bent, we're bringing the soles of the feet together. So the hips are opening. And you should be feeling gentle stretch on the inside of the hips. If this is too much for the hips, you can just come straight into Shavasana. Another thing, if you had 2 blocks, you could put blocks under the knees. In this pose, I actually like to just gently rest my hands on the legs. I'm not forcing the legs down, but it's just sort of gently encouraging the knees, the legs a little bit closer towards the ground. you want to imagine you're breathing into the hips. So we're trying to let that tension melt away with the breath. Just let yourself go, letting the knees come closer to the ground. Try and totally relax those hips. And then let's take a full body stretch. Extend the legs. Extend the arms over the head. Try to get as much length as you can. Take a little bit of a side stretch. So we're still on our backs, trying to get length, and then we get into that banana shape. Or banana, as the Brits say. So here I'm feeling stretch on the side ribs, the hip, and then we stretch out the other side. So I'm just shifting the hips in one direction, legs, arms go in the opposite direction. And then recenter. And we come into Shavasana. Shavasana, resting pose. Feet are apart, about a foot or so, arms either side of you, palms up towards the ceiling, chin tucked, so we're keeping length in the neck, and we just totally relax, just letting yourself sink into the ground. And we're going to hang out here for a minute or so, and maybe just scan the body, just make sure you're not holding any tension. I usually work from the feet up, so just making sure the feet and the legs are totally relaxed, hips are relaxed, the back, shoulders, arms, face is soft. Eyes closed, breathing is regular. Just try to keep focus on the breath. So usually it's good to be in Shavasana for a couple of minutes. Shavasana helps you assimilate the practice that we just had. Helps to calm the body. If you want to hold Shavasana longer, that's just fine. I'm going to come out of it now. So to come out, I walk the feet in. And typically roll over to the right side. I'm doing the opposite since I want to face you guys. But typically we roll over to the right side and we gently push ourselves back up into a seated position. So just like last week, we'll do an Om. So I'm going to unmute everybody. Maybe you want to join in an Om. So typically in the Om, we'll do a couple of breaths, and then we do three Oms. Let's see if I can unmute everybody. I think it's just Control M to unmute. Is everyone unmuted? Yes, no? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, let's do 2 breaths and a couple of O's. So we're going to bring the palms together, palms to chest. We're sitting tall. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Bring the hands to the forehead. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody.